Rahil was a well-known name in the paranormal investigation world. For years, he had traveled to more than 6,000 haunted places. From dark forests to ancient castles, there was no place too terrifying for him to explore. He had faced ghosts, demons, and curses, yet nothing seemed to shake his resolve. His passion for uncovering the unknown had earned him the respect of both his peers and followers. Rahil was fearless. But everything changed one night. It had started with a strange feeling. Rahil had noticed it first during a routine investigation in an old, abandoned mansion. There was an energy in the air that he couldn't explain. It wasn't like any ghost or demon he had ever encountered. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, but it felt like something was following him. At first, Rahil ignored it. He had seen enough to know that fear was often just the mind playing tricks. But the feeling grew stronger with each passing day. It wasn't just in the places he investigated. It was in his own home, too. Rahil's wife, Priya, noticed it too. He had become distant, often staring into space, lost in thought. He would sometimes mutter things to himself that made no sense, things like, "It's coming for me, and I can't escape it." One night, after a particularly disturbing investigation, Rahil sat on the couch, his eyes glazed over, his body tense. Priya asked him what was wrong. "I can feel it, Priya," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "It's not like a ghost, it's something darker. It's pulling me in. I can't escape." Priya, concerned but not understanding, tried to comfort him. "Maybe you're just tired. You've been working non-stop." But Rahil shook his head. "No, it's not that. It's in my reflection. In mirrors. In the water. It watches me. It follows me wherever I go." Priya was silent for a moment, not sure how to respond. She had always known Rahil was strong, unshaken by the things he investigated. But this was different. Something had changed in him, something beyond her understanding. Days passed, and Rahil's condition only worsened. The feeling of being hunted never left him. He couldn't sleep. He couldn't eat. His once confident demeanor was replaced by a nervous energy, always glancing over his shoulder, checking mirrors and windows, as if expecting something to appear. One day, Rahil came to Priya with a strange request. He had been offered the chance to investigate a location that was said to be the most haunted in the world, an old mansion located deep in the countryside. The rumors surrounding the place were chilling. People had entered, but none had ever come back. Those who did return were never the same. They spoke of shadows, whispers in the dark, and an energy so powerful that it tore at the very fabric of reality. Priya tried to talk him out of it. "Please, Rahil. You're not yourself. This place, it's dangerous. You need to rest." But Rahil was determined. "I have to go, Priya. I have to finish this. It's the only way I'll be free." With a heavy heart, Priya agreed, knowing there was no stopping him. After his return from the mansion, Rahil's behavior became even more erratic. He would stand in front of mirrors for hours, his expression one of pure terror. He no longer wanted to investigate paranormal sites. Instead, he focused on trying to understand what was following him. The worst part was when he began avoiding the bathroom. Priya noticed it first. For days, Rahil would walk past the bathroom, his eyes wide with fear. He would mumble something about the reflection, but he refused to go inside. It was unlike him. Rahil had never been afraid of anything before, not even the most haunted places. One evening, after Priya had asked him again to take a shower, Rahil finally agreed, his fear still present in his eyes. He walked into the bathroom, locking the door behind him. It was only a few minutes later that Priya heard the scream. A blood-curdling, ear-splitting scream that sent chills down her spine. It echoed through the house, rattling the windows. Priya rushed to the bathroom door, her heart pounding in her chest. "Rahil, what's happening?" Panicking, she called for help, and soon the neighbors arrived, trying to break down the door. When they finally managed to get it open, they found Rahil lying in the bathtub. His body was frozen in place, eyes wide open, mouth agape, as if he had seen something so horrifying that it had taken his life in an instant. There was no water in the tub. There were no signs of injury, no blood, no wounds. Just his terrified expression. The room was eerily calm, the only sound coming from Priya's frantic breathing. The police arrived soon after, but they couldn't make sense of what had happened. Rahil's death was ruled as natural, but the circumstances were far from normal. There was no physical cause for his death. His body showed no signs of trauma. The only thing that stood out was his expression, a look of sheer horror. Priya was in shock. She didn't know how to cope with the loss of her husband, the man she had once known as strong and fearless. But she knew something wasn't right. She had been married to Rahil for years, and she knew him better than anyone. Something had driven him to this point, and she believed it wasn't just stress or fear, it was something much darker. After Rahil's funeral, Priya went through his things. She found his journal, filled with strange entries. At first, they seemed like typical notes from a paranormal investigator. But the more she read, the more she understood. Rahil had been fighting something for weeks, something he had discovered during his investigations. He wrote about a negative energy, something that couldn't be explained, a force that was stronger than any ghost or demon he had ever encountered. "It's not a ghost. It's something darker. I've seen it in reflections, in the water, in my own eyes. It's waiting. And it wants me." Priya shivered as she read the words. She had never believed in curses or dark forces, but now, she wasn't so sure. The more she thought about it, the more she began to believe that Rahil's death wasn't just an accident, it was the result of something he had unknowingly invited into their home. Months passed, and Priya tried to move on. But the memories of Rahil's last days haunted her. She would often stand in front of the bathroom mirror, staring into her own reflection, wondering if the darkness that had consumed him was now coming for her. Then, one night, something happened. Priya was in the bathroom, brushing her teeth, when she saw something strange in the mirror. It was just a flicker at first, a shadow, barely noticeable. But then it grew, shifting in the reflection behind her. She spun around, heart racing, but there was nothing there. A voice whispered in the air, a voice that sounded like Rahil's, but it was twisted and distorted. "It's coming for you too." The mirror cracked. A cold wind filled the room. Priya screamed and ran out, but the feeling of being watched never left her. And now, she understood. Rahil's greatest fear wasn't just ghosts or spirits. It was the reflection, the dark energy that lurked in the things we trust the most. The mirror was never just glass, it was a doorway. And something had come through.